Hello, I'm Nicole Simmons, an editor with MassLive. I'm here in the Worcester office with reporter Alvin Buyinza. Alvin recently spent some time on Martha's Vineyard, wrote a really great story that ran on MassLive.com, taking a look at the history of Black folks, generations of families visiting the island, but specifically the Oak Bluffs neighborhood. What was the most interesting thing that you took away? And then who are some of the people that you met?
So I think when Black Americans talk about the magic of Oak Bluffs, it really is a magical place. And I first discovered it when I took the ferry from Woods Hole to Oak Bluffs. I think it was the 11 a.m. ferry. And as a reporter, I was doing the reporter thing, which I was going around, I was asking people on the ship, what was it like? Why do you like to go to Oak Bluffs? What's so magical about it? I was speaking to many, many people, and they were all, people who had been visiting the island town for decades and decades and decades. One of the people who I met, his name was Doug Allen. Mm-hmm. He's a resident of New Jersey, but he calls himself a part-time resident of Oak Bluffs because he goes back and forth year-round from the island of New Jersey because he loves it so much. He loves it so much. And I went up to him and I was, just trying to interview him. I was just trying to talk to him. I was, saying, I'm a reporter from MassLive. I'm writing the story about Oak Bluffs. And, would you like to talk to me? He's like, oh yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. And the thing about Oak Bluffs is that everybody's so friendly, everybody's so warm and kind, and that's part of the magic. And I discovered that magic when he said, let's, go down to my car, I'm gonna drive you to your Airbnb. I told him that I was staying on Oak Bluffs for 2 days. I had an Airbnb in Oak Bluffs. He was like, oh yeah, sure, I can drive you there. Right. And he was just telling me about how much he loved Oak Bluffs. He was just telling me about how much camaraderie and warmth there was. It was such a nice, sweet moment. Yeah. And at the end, he actually told me who you need to talk to is Larry Jones, who is a tour guide for the African-American Heritage Trail of Martha's Vineyard. Mm-hmm. He said, you need to talk this man, you need to get in connection with him. And he actually, we exchanged social media contacts via Instagram. And he sent my Instagram profile to Larry Jones. He emailed it. Yeah. I walked into the bar and, something about the bar just draws me. And I don't know why. I just felt like I just had to go there. I don't know why. I walk in and I see a man sitting at the bar and he looks at me and I look at him and he does this to me. He says, and he shows me his phone. He says, this you? And it's a photo of my Instagram profile. And he was like, yeah. And then it clicks to me. I'm like, oh, wait, you're Larry Jones. Right. And I met Larry Jones in a bar at like 12 a.m. Oh, my goodness. In Sharky's. And I was just so excited. I start firing away questions. And Larry tells me like the most beautiful long story of how Oak Bluffs became a popular vacationing site for lots of African Americans across America. But that's when it clicked to me, like that is the magic, just being able to just be drawn to a random bar in the middle of the night and find Larry after talking to so many people. And I talked to a lot of families and a lot of people, but that was the magic. Cool. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with Oak Bluffs.
One of the people who we connected to immediately and the sort of vessel that the whole story was shaped around was the family, specifically Lee Van Allen at Shearer Cottage.
Lee, I think, has been on the island long enough. She kind of knows it like the back of her hand. Mm-hmm. And she describes like Martha's Vineyard as there's lots of towns that have different personalities, but she always says that Oak Bluffs was the hub of the African American community. She's telling me the story of Shearer Cottage and what it means to her. She's telling me about how much it kind of has meant to the island town. Mm-hmm. And she's telling me the lineage and the history of her family. And through that, I get to kind of have a window into how many generations of African Americans have poured into. The beauty of Oak Bluffs is that it's one of the places that lots of African Americans call Black Mecca because it is probably for a brief moment where Black people get to be among one another. Mm-hmm. And they don't have to be judged. There's no scrutiny. There's no being under the white gaze. You just get to kind of breathe and be yourself and be free. Mm-hmm. And know there's other people looking like you who are from the same background as you. And you can talk and socialize and you really feel like you belong. Mm-hmm. It's a home away from home. And so that's why you have people for like Jennifer Long who come all the way from I believe she's from DC, all the way from DC to Oak Bluffs. You have so many families across different parts of the United States coming to this island town just to feel free, just to feel safe.
So Alvin, the story has been out in the world for a while, for a week or so, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback. We're certainly proud of the work that you have done, and I'm just wondering, what do you hope readers will get from your story?
I think I want readers to understand how important safety is for African Americans, a group of people who in this country have been subjected to political, economic, social violence, have been kind of pushed to the margins. This is one of the very few places where they get to stand in the center and be free and be themselves, to take up space, and knowing that this island town offers them that ability to be fully themselves. And that's what's so important about it. That's what was so important about Sheer Cottage. It was a safe haven. It was a way for African Americans to understand that there was a place for them, for people who looked like them. Oak Bluffs is a place for African Americans because it offers them that sense of community, offers them that safety, in spaces that many African Americans may not have or may rarely have. So I think I want readers to just really understand and appreciate the beauty behind Oak Bluffs and what African Americans mean when they say it has magic.